So hello gamers, today I'm going to be showing off the highest ranked gun in Phantom Forces in every single category. I'm also going to be talking about if they're good or not. So we'll start off with the G11. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's go for 1,000 likes. Also do subscribe because I do want to see the funny thing that happens when people subscribe on a video. It has a little plus mark. Maybe I'll community post the total we get for this video. But anyway, the first gun is the rank 211 G11K2. This is an interesting gun that actually has perfect accuracy when you burst it. Like all the shots will land in exactly the same spot, and that is because of the fact that the bolt actually recedes after every burst or during each burst, and that will allow recoil to happen after the burst. I don't know how they programmed that into the game, but it's actually done really well, where you can actually get the shots to land in other spots, but if you're not moving, you're aiming directly at something, it will actually land all three shots, which is really good because it can actually 3-shot kill to the head at any range. I'm not hitting this guy, and 3-shot kill to the torso in close range to about 90 studs, which is really good. So it can actually 1 burst to the torso in close range and 1 burst head at any range, which makes it a very powerful DMR. That does actually take some skill to use, but you can also 2 burst people if you're not really that great. But if you want to go for it, you can actually 1 burst. I have actually gotten into this gun and gotten very good with it, but not in a while. Like, it's a very acquired taste type gun, but if you're really good with it, it can be cracked out of its mind, and it can burst very fast. So it's very good if you're pretty good with it. It has a lot of pen, pretty good velocity. It's an overall really great gun. I honestly would give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm not going to rank every single gun on this list. But yeah, it's a extremely powerful gun. Like, it's so good. The next category is battle rifle, and the highest rank one is rank 107, and that's the FAL 50. The FAL 50 is a very high fire rate for a battle rifle, very high damage gun, but it does have a slow reload time and a lot of recoil and only 20 rounds. But it's essentially just like the damage of a Scar H with an extra 100 RPM. The damage and time to kill this gun, and especially like how well it does at ranges, is pretty crazy, and it's definitely one of the best FALs in the game, and arguably the best overall FAL in the game, because it just does what all the FALs do basically. It's an overall high damage battle rifle, but with a little bit of bonus RPM, so it's very good. Would I recommend you pre-buy it? Yeah, kinda. Like, if you want a good battle rifle, this is probably the best battle rifle in the game overall. You could say the M14 is a little bit better, or maybe the G3 or AG3, but I'm gonna be real. If you want an overall really good battle rifle, this is it. Next up, you got Carbine. The highest ranked one is the can cannon. And if you don't know about the can cannon, it's essentially a sniper kind of thing where it shoots cans. In this case, I'm shooting golf balls because golf balls happens to be pretty much the best ammo type in the game, and has a 1-shot to the torso. Not anywhere in the body, but it can 1-shot torso, which is pretty good. About 75 studs if you're using the 50 Beowulf blank ammo. Honestly, this gun is kind of cracked. I'm not gonna lie. Is it worth pre-buying? Not really. It's kind of just a combination of a lot of different guns, but in the very weird package, and it doesn't really feel that great, at least to me. Just handling and stuff wise, like, it has fine handling and everything. It just doesn't feel like a gun I would want to use. You know, it's a meme gun, and it's super weird. But yeah, with golf ball, it actually is a very nice sniper rifle in a carbine. So I don't really recommend it if you want an automatic carbine, because it's not at all. It cannot ever be an automatic carbine. Then you have shotgun, and that's the USAS. The USAS is an automatic, very fast firing shotgun that I don't like very much. This man is skitzing, dude. It has 450 RPM, but does some of the lowest damage of any shotgun in the game, dealing 19 damage per pellet. I talked about it in probably my last video, or at least the one I recorded before this, so yeah, I guess go check that one out. It's ranking every meme gun. This is kind of a meme gun. It wasn't really added to be that great, but it is decently good because it takes no skill to use. But don't pre-buy it. People will hate you, and I will hate you. I don't like it. It's not a good gun. Next up, you got PDW. This is the Rama. The Rama 1130 is a very good gun now. It can 4-shot up close, which is not really too great, but it's a lot better than a 5-shot up close, which is what it had before, and that's why it used to suck, but now it's very good. And it does pretty bad damage at range, but it has 80 rounds, very fast RPM, and it's really good. It's not necessarily the best PDW, but if you want low recoil, 80 rounds, fast reload, it's kind of just like a P90, but better. The P90 has some pretty nice advantages. I think it has a faster walk speed if you're using Civimag. It has better damage at range and better pen. It has more generic recoil. This gun has some weird recoil, but it's overall really low, so it doesn't really matter too much, as you can see. And this gun kind of beams, and it reloads a lot faster than a lot of other PDWs. Like, it has like an MP5 type reload, but 80 rounds, and this is with a muzzle booster, and the recoil is still so low. The problem with the recoil is that it goes up quite a bit, before it stops. Like, most guns stop after like 5 shots, and that can be annoying if you're not really that great, but it's a really good gun. I recommend it. Maybe don't pre-buy it because it is rank 126. Maybe use the P90 instead and the PPSH, but it's really good. Next up, you got the LMG class. This is the MG3. Most people know what it is. It's a very high damage, very fast firing LMG. Like, it fires fast even for a PDW, and it does some pretty crazy damage, but it's very slow, only has 50 rounds and dumps all 50 in like 2 seconds of sustained fire, which isn't really that great, but it does reload faster now. The damage isn't super great at range for a LMG, but it's pretty good overall. And I'm gonna be real, the recoil beams. I don't know why people say this gun has recoil. It really doesn't have recoil. I don't know what you guys are talking about. What is that recoil? I don't see recoil here. Like, are you serious? Overall, it's not a bad gun at all. I would not recommend you pre-buy it though, because it's not really the best LMG. In fact, it's probably the worst. Although, since it reloads faster, I have been liking it a lot more. It does reload still really slow, but it does reload quite a bit faster, which is definitely an upside that it didn't have before. It used to have like a 7.3 second reload. When you have 1,000 RPM and 50 rounds like that, 50 rounds goes away quite fast. You gotta reload pretty much constantly, and now it's like 5.4 instead of 7.3. Pretty good reload time. Not amazing, but for 50 rounds, it's not terrible. Just keep in mind, the Rama has a 2.3 second reload and 80 rounds instead of 50. Of course, this gun does do more damage, but really, it's just what you want. Next up, we have Sniper, and it's the NTW. Now, the NTW is a very powerful sniper rifle that you can only shoot while you're crouched, which is annoying. You can hip fire it while you're not crouched, but you have to either be standing next to cover that you can actually see over, which is a cool thing. Like, you can see here, but you can't actually aim down sights unless you're crouched or next to cover, which is interesting. It's definitely a downside, and it's not a downside I really like too much. It's also ranked 250. I think it's the highest ranked gun in the game, even now that the cannon is in the game. It's an alright gun. It's not great. Obrez barrel does make the gun quite a bit worse, especially with a lot of the different conversions, because it makes the drop a lot worse and the damage at range a lot worse, but it does allow you to aim down sights, I think, while you're standing, which is pretty interesting. I don't really like the gun overall, but if you like it, it's not terrible. It is going to be getting a buff pretty soon, which is nice, because I think it deserves kind of a little bit of a buff, because it's just not really amazing. It does have a reputation to being campy, because the best way to use it is to probably camp and prone, so you can always be aiming down sights, but I like it for close range. It's not too bad. Now we are on to the secondaries, which have probably some of the most interesting high rank guns, starting off with the AF 2011. This is an instant burst pistol, and it's also very loud, and they make this a little bit quieter because, like, it's so loud. It has 16 rounds in a magazine, but it fires 2 at once, so it actually has more like 8 rounds in a magazine. Can't load a +1. It would be cool if you could load a +2, like add 2 extra rounds to it, because it's 2 1911s, and I think they're both close bolted, so why can't you add 2 rounds? It doesn't make any sense. I guess they just didn't want to program that or something. It does about 80 damage to 44 if you hit both shots, or both pellets. And it can one-shot to the head as well. So I'm going to say this is a decent gun, but it's not really that great. It does do pretty high overall damage if both of your shots are hitting. Both pellets, I should say. Like, they're kind of more pellets than different shots, even though they are different guns technically. No, it isn't a pellet situation. It is 2 shots, just fired very quickly in succession. And they do have blooms, so as you can see, they're not going to land in the same spot. So it is like 2 different guns firing, and it's not really that great. The range is really bad. They should actually improve the range of this gun, but it's a decent overall gun, so maybe they don't have to. That was 2 headshots and it didn't kill. I don't know, man. I don't really like this gun. It's fine. It's a decent gun. It is interesting, but it's not really the best gun in the game. I'm going to be real. Let me know in the comments if you use this gun. If you pre-bought this gun, I feel bad because it's also like rank 200, so. Can you die? Thank you. The highest ranked machine pistol is the arm pistol, and the arm pistol is a gun that when it came out, I actually was planning on maining it, because on paper it seems really good. 800 RPM, it can have a 30 round magazine, decent velocity, very good ranges for a machine pistol, and it overall seems like it's going to be basically an M4A1 in your pocket, and it kind of is statistically wise. However, it's got some recoil. They did fix it a lot. The recoil is nowhere near as bad as it used to be, but it's not really that great. It's an alright gun. It's pretty good. It's like, you know, you can beam people a little bit with it at close range, and the 3-hit kill range is pretty good, especially for a machine pistol. It's actually really good for a machine pistol, but it falls off very hard. Like, it falls off so hard. Ranges wise, it has 20 studs to go from 34 to 20 damage, which is amazingly bad. So basically at 55 studs, you're doing 34. and at 75, you're doing 20. It also has very little reserve, especially with the extended mag. Without the extended mag, the reserve is pretty good, but like you need extended mag because the recoil is kind of not that great, and you're gonna kind of spray at longer ranges. But for close range, this is probably one of the best, or at least better machine pistols in the game. Probably better than like the MP 1911 even. The recoil is a lot more consistent. And yeah, the damage holds up pretty well. I'd say this gun is actually really good now. It's not amazing. It's not the best machine pistol. I think the Scorpion kind of still does it better because the Scorpion fires faster and the recoil in the Scorpion is so easy to control. It's nothing. Versus this, which does have a better 3-hit kill range, has the bigger extended magazine, which is nice. And it's not too bad to control, but yeah. And you got revolvers. It's the Executioner. This is obviously a very good revolver because it can one-tap torso to like 55 or 60 studs, which is just amazing. Yeah, it's a one-shot revolver. I don't know what else to say about it, man. This gun is so well known. I don't think I can have a single original comment about how it works because it has the slowest walk speed of any secondary. It fires extremely slow, 120 RPM, but it one-shots to the torso, so who cares? This has gotten quite a few nerfs. It single loads shells now, and it reloads really slow, and it fires slower, and just all that, man. But it still one-taps just as far, so why is it still like this? I don't know, man. Pre-buy it, maybe, but pre-buy the XIX over it, but if you want it, it's very good. Also, if you got the SAS, is a one-shot pistol. And I don't mean one-shot. It does one-shot headshot at any range, but I mean one-shot in the sense that it only has one bullet. It doesn't actually one-shot to the body. So the Executioner can one-shot to the body in closer range. This can't. It does have a conversion that can do that, but then it can't one-shot headshot at any range. So the Executioner is just it, but 6 bullets. What's the point of this gun? Nothing. I think it's a meme gun. It's not really good, but it's funny, and it can one-shot to the head at any range, which makes it not really too bad. The velocity is also pretty high, but it should be a low-rank gun. Like, if it was a low-rank gun and you didn't really have access to something like the GB or something, it wouldn't be too trash. But then as you got more options, it probably wouldn't be really that great. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't need to be a highest-ranked pistol because it's just not good. It can two-shot limb at any range, which seems pretty good, but it's only got 1 bullet, so you kind of gotta wait a while to fire that second round, and in that time you could probably kill a guy with the Glock 17. If you use the conversion, the torso kills, as you can see, has awful velocity, lower than the Executioner, same as the XIX. It's a fine gun. It's okay. It's not fine. It's not okay. I'm joking. It's really not that good at all, but it's a usable gun. Okay, it's a usable gun. Of the guns on this list, this is the one that I want you to pre-buy the least, unless you want to pre-buy because you want to have fun with it. But it's not really the most fun gun either. It is pretty powerful sounding, so if you want to use it, you know, you can use it. It's not too bad. But if you guys did enjoy, that is the highest rank gun in every single category. Make sure to like and subscribe. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.